You're pregnant. Congratulations. But your heart sinks when you think about how you're going to share this with your friend that you know has been struggling with infertility and miscarriage for a long time. First of all, the fact that you are thinking about that person's feelings is really kind of you. And as a fertility doctor and as someone who struggled with infertility myself, I want to share with you the kindest way possible to share this information with your friend. I'm Dr. Lora Shahine, a double board certified OBGYN and reproductive endocrinologist, helping people build families for over 20 years. I am so happy that you found this channel. If you're new here, be sure and subscribe so you get my weekly videos all about reproductive health. There's two other great ways to learn and stay in touch. Number one, sign up for my weekly newsletter. The link is in the description below. And number two, I have a weekly Brave and Curious podcast with deep dives into topics and interviews with experts in the field. Both of those ways are wonderful ways to learn. Today, we are going to learn how to share the news that you are pregnant with your infertile friend that you know is going to be really impacted by this news. I want you to share this information with your friend in a way that's not going to diminish your own happiness and excitement, but also is compassionate for how it's going to make that person feel. And I'm going to go through at first 5 ways not to share, a little bit of tips on how to share, and stick around to the end while I'll give you the best way I think to share this information, and I'll even give you a script and an example of what you can actually say. So first of all, 5 ways not to share that you're pregnant with your infertile friend. Number 1, do not surprise them in a public setting. They can feel blindsided and really not have time to process what's happened. It can feel wonderful to want to share at a family gathering or at a birthday party or at some event. And you can absolutely do that if that feels right for you. But if you know that someone in that crowd is struggling with infertility, miscarriage, has shared with you that this is what they're dealing with, you should talk to that person first and let them know that this is going to happen. That does not diminish your own experience with sharing your joy with people that you love. But if you're really thinking about the feelings of that friend that is struggling, you don't want them to be hearing it for the first time in this public space and not have time to process and kind of really think it through. Sharing with them first in a private setting gives them time to process and makes it so it's not a complete shock and a triggering situation for them. The second way not to share your pregnancy news with your friend that's infertile is a big announcement on social media. Now, sharing on social media can be wonderful and a great way to let people in your life know this incredible news. But again, for that friend that is shared with you this vulnerable issue that they are dealing with, for them to get the news, just opening up Instagram or TikTok or whatever social media you're choosing to announce it on, that can feel surprising, shocking. It can feel like a betrayal, honestly. And so you might think, oh, well, I'm not doing it in a public setting. I'm not announcing it at a birthday party where they don't have time to process. You might think, oh, well, they're still going to get this information in the privacy of kind of checking their, social media. But it can still have that same reaction, that shock, that triggering, that sort of inability to sort of process. And it feels public. And also, if you share on social media before you share it with your friend that you know is struggling, then there's a real likelihood that that friend could hear from someone else that just happens to have seen the announcement first. So again, it might be very different from doing it in a public in-person setting, but it can still have that same feeling of betrayal, shock, triggering to that friend that you know has shared this really vulnerable situation with you. I think by sharing with that person personally, before you make that announcement on social media shows compassion. Number 3, when you share, don't lead with, well, I know this is going to be hard for you. So you are sharing, you're doing it personally, you're not doing it in a public space, you're not doing it on social media, but leading with trying to put yourself in that person's position and sort of try to project what they should be feeling can be very disarming, disheartening, triggering for people. It sounds thoughtful to say, oh gosh, I know this is going to be really hard for you to hear, but it can feel performative. If you do know that this is going to be hard for them, you don't have to spotlight that or try to tell them that you're in their shoes. You can still share and be compassionate. So this situation can be particularly hard if you have been in the infertility trenches with your friend. Maybe you were doing treatments at the same time. Maybe you had shared when you started trying. Maybe you'd shared you'd had a miscarriage. You met in a support group. Whatever it is, part of your connection with this friend had been that you were in this infertility journey together, and then now you are exiting and that person sort of sees themselves still being on that journey, and that can be especially painful. And so when you're sharing, you want to connect with that person and say, yeah, I have been with you on this journey. I know how you must feel. But just sharing that when you do share, try to not make it so much about you or how you're trying to feel and share how they feel, and just lead with kindness and compassion and support. Tip number 4, when you are sharing, avoid toxic positivity, meaning the conversation could start out like, hey, I want to share some news with you. I know it's going to have mixed feelings for you, but I'm pregnant, and then immediately lead into, but I know you're next. At least you have time. Or if it can happen for me, I know it can happen for you. You know, it's sort of, you're trying to lead with kindness and positivity and be helpful to that person. You're trying to sort of share and then say like, oh, I know you're struggling, but it's going to happen for you next. That can really just sting. So try to avoid toxic positivity. And finally, tip number 5, don't expect any sort of reaction. You have no idea how your friend is going to feel. Your friend could dive deep into enthusiasm, happiness for you, excitement. That person could really be shocked and honestly just not want to continue the conversation. There could be some anger. There could be just many, many mixed emotions. Just don't have any expectations for how they might react, because it really could be all over the place. I'm glad you stuck around to the end because you learned a lot about what not to do. Now I'm going to share with you my advice on how to share your pregnancy news with your infertile friend. So here's what I recommend. Many of my patients, and honestly myself as I was going through infertility, appreciate a personal message, whether it is a text or an email or maybe a handwritten letter, if anybody still writes letters anymore, something that your friend can open up on their own in their own time and process alone. This is not a social media text. This is not a public announcement. And it's not even you verbally sharing face to face. It might seem counterintuitive. It might seem like it's more compassionate to kind of ask them out for a hike or a walk or tea or something like that and share with them personally so that you can support them in their time when they might have a lot of mixed emotions. But honestly, the most compassionate thing to do is to share in a written way that that person can open up on their own time and have their own personal feelings and time to process. It gives them space, it gives them dignity, and it shows compassion. And here is a sample script on what you could say. I wanted to tell you personally that I'm pregnant. I know this might bring up a lot of emotions, and I'm sending this privately so you have space to feel whatever you need. I love you, and I'm here for you when you're ready. Again, this shows compassion, kindness. It allows a person to process on their own time. And it says, hey, I am here for you whenever you want to talk about it. I love you. You're showing that you know that this is going to bring up a lot of emotions. And I truly feel that this is the kindest way to share with your infertile friend your own wonderful news that you're pregnant. And these tips are not meant to take away any of your joy and any of your happiness with sharing. This is a unique situation where you have a dear friend that you know is struggling, and you have just achieved the one thing that this person is fighting for. And out of compassion, out of friendship, you are thinking about how this is going to make them feel, and you're sharing in a private way. I truly hope this was helpful. Like this video if you learned something, comment with questions that you have or other topics you'd like to see me cover. Be sure and subscribe to this channel so you get my weekly videos all about reproductive health. And until next week, I'm sending you love, luck, and pineapples.